I'm Ethan, 33, and for the last 3 years, I believed I'd found my soulmate in my fiancée, Claire, 31. We seemed perfect together, at least that's what I thought. I had a solid career, a home I'd worked tirelessly to own, and I was ready to build a life with her. Claire convinced me she was deeply in love, that we were partners, ready to embark on our forever after saying, I do. But then I uncovered the truth. She wasn't marrying me for love. She was after my wealth, planning to discard me the moment she could claim half of everything. I should have been furious, heartbroken. Instead, I smirked. Claire had no clue she'd just set herself up for failure. It all began innocently enough, or so I thought. Claire and I had been engaged for 6 months, immersed in wedding preparations. One evening, she mentioned she was heading out for a girls' night with her friends. No problem, right? Wrong. That night, I was working late in my study when her tablet buzzed on the desk. She'd left it behind, and I wouldn't have pried, but a notification caught my eye, twisting my gut. He's clueless. Lol. It was from her best friend, Mia. I hesitated, but curiosity won. I opened their group chat, and what I found was devastating. Not a misunderstanding or a cruel joke. A calculated, months-long scheme to marry me, take half my assets, and walk away. Claire, OMG, you're really going through with this? It's the easiest payday I'll ever have. Mia, you're ruthless. He actually thinks you're in love? Of course. I deserve this. 3 years of faking it. I've earned my reward. You mean half his fortune? Exactly. He's just a placeholder husband. Once the divorce is done, I'm free and loaded. I felt nauseous, but it got worse. Another friend, Sophie, chimed in. What if he fights you in court? Claire, Ethan's an idiot. He didn't even suggest a prenup. I made sure of it. Mia, damn, you've played the long con. Respect. Just a few more months of pretending I care. Then bam. Divorce payout. I'm set forever. They were laughing, mocking me, treating me like a disposable cash machine who'd foolishly fallen for the wrong woman. My world crumbled as I stared at the screen. I could have confronted her, thrown her out right then. But instead, I exhaled and grinned, because Claire had made a critical error. She underestimated me, and now I was about to become her worst nightmare. I wasn't just going to walk away, that'd be too simple. She'd spent 3 years pretending to love me, manipulating me, making me believe in our shared future, all while plotting to ruin me. She thought she was winning a game. She didn't realize I'd just rewritten the rules. The next morning, I took the first step toward her downfall. I met with my attorney, Daniel, who dealt with plenty of opportunists like Claire. I showed him everything. The tablet messages, her plan to divorce me and take half, her belief I was too naive for a prenup. Daniel leaned back, smirking. She's going to regret this. Together, we crafted an airtight, unassailable prenup. Key terms included: if she files for divorce, she gets nothing. If infidelity or fraud is proven, she owes me a penalty. All assets acquired after marriage remain mine alone. My house, cars, and income, untouchable. This wasn't just a prenup. It was a trap, a legal minefield Claire was about to step into. The toughest part was pretending I was still the same oblivious, lovesick fool. I kept up the act, kissing her, discussing the wedding, letting her think she had me fooled. Claire wouldn't sign a prenup without suspicion. She thought she was clever. So I set a trap. I arranged a fake call with Daniel, ensuring Claire overheard just enough. In my study, I spoke loudly enough for her to catch fragments. Yeah, the prenup's no big deal. Just routine. I'd never hold it against her. Pause. Come on, man, you think I'd take money from Claire? She's not after my stuff. Another pause. No, she's fine with signing it. It's just a formality. I heard her pause outside the door. I grinned, she'd taken the bait. That evening, I brought up the prenup casually. Babe, Daniel says it's standard stuff. But if you're worried, we can add something for you. Her eyes narrowed. Like what? I shrugged. Maybe a clause that gives you a small payout if we split. Like a fancy vacation or a little cash. So you feel secure. Claire sighed dramatically, flashing her best fake smile. Fine, if it makes you happy, I'll sign. But only if my clause is included. I pretended to waver. You sure? You don't have to. She grinned wider. No, babe. I don't want you to feel bad. It's just paperwork. She thought she'd outsmarted me, securing a small win. But her clause was legally meaningless. Daniel and I ensured it was vague and unenforceable. When she signed the prenup, she believed she'd won. In reality, she'd handed me the perfect weapon. I wanted to laugh, But instead, I kissed her forehead and said I loved her. The trap was set. With the prenup signed, I began preparing my revenge. I quietly moved my assets to secure accounts, stopped funding our shared wedding account, and encouraged Claire to spend lavishly, knowing she'd never see a cent of it. Meanwhile, Claire grew bolder, bragging to her friends about her upcoming divorce, planning her post-marriage life, even slacking on the affectionate act. I just smiled. She had no idea she'd signed away her future. On our wedding day, Claire thought she had me right where she wanted me. She played the devoted fiancée perfectly, believing the prenup was a harmless formality. She was about to walk down the aisle into a trap. The wedding was her dream come true, not for love, but for greed. That morning, Claire was radiant, not with love but with smug confidence. Her bridesmaids, Mia hyping her up and Sophie nervously complicit, surrounded her. Claire had chosen the priciest venue, racked up my cards with extravagant wedding expenses, and flashed her fake, adoring smile, thinking she'd soon be free. I watched, playing the clueless groom, the man blindly in love with his scheming fiancée. The placeholder husband, who didn't suspect his bride was waiting to betray him. She had no idea I was waiting for her to make her move. As she walked down the aisle, everyone saw a stunning bride. I saw a woman marching to her own ruin. At the altar, her grip on my hand was just a bit too tight, her final act of deception. "Do you take this man as your lawfully wedded husband?" the officiant asked. She beamed. "I do." I smiled back. "And do you, Ethan, take Claire?" "I do," I said calmly, certain. She thought she'd secured her prize. But as she placed the ring on my finger, she sealed her own fate. We jetted off to a luxury resort in Bali for the honeymoon Claire had planned, choosing the most extravagant destinations. She spent my money without hesitation, swiping my cards like they were already hers. I let her, letting her dig deeper, thinking she was in charge. She played the perfect wife just enough to keep me fooled, or so she thought. I cataloged every lie, counting the days until she made her move. Because when she did, she was finished. 3 months into our perfect marriage, Claire started laying the groundwork for her exit. She thought she was subtle, starting petty arguments, hinting that couples sometimes drift apart, mentioning financial security, just in case. She was testing me, trying to make divorce seem inevitable. Then, one evening, she made her move. We were having dinner, sipping wine, the mood deceptively relaxed. "Ethan, honey, we need to talk," she said. I looked up, feigning ignorance. "Sure, love. What's up?" She sighed theatrically. "I feel like we rushed into this. Maybe we're not as perfect for each other as we thought." I let fake hurt cross my face. "You don't think we're happy?" She took my hand. "I love you, Ethan. But maybe we need space. A break. Maybe it's best if we part ways while things are still amicable." I held her gaze, suppressing a grin. "You're saying you want a divorce?" She nodded, barely hiding her excitement. "I think it's for the best." I leaned back, sighing as if my heart were breaking. "Okay, let's meet with the lawyer tomorrow." Claire was glowing when we arrived at Daniel's office. She wore a designer outfit, dripping with jewelry, her smug smile screaming victory. To her, this was the final step in her scheme. She'd survived a few months of marriage and was ready to cash in. I kept my face neutral as we entered. The receptionist ushered us into a sleek conference room. Claire sat down like she owned it, unaware she was about to face her reckoning. Daniel was waiting, calm and professional, eyeing Claire like he'd seen her kind before. "Mrs. Morgan," he greeted. She smiled. "Call me Claire. I won't be a Morgan much longer." I nearly scoffed. Daniel opened a thick folder. "Let's review the terms of your divorce settlement," he said smoothly. Claire sat up, eager. "Yes, let's." He flipped a page, pausing for effect. "Just to confirm, you're initiating this divorce, correct?" Claire nodded. "Yes, it's for the best." Daniel tapped a document. "Then we'll proceed per the prenuptial agreement you signed before the marriage." Claire's confidence flickered. "Wait, prenup?" Daniel didn't look up. "Yes, the legally binding prenup you signed. We'll follow its terms precisely." Silence. Then Claire laughed nervously. "Oh, come on. Ethan and I discussed this. That prenup's just a formality. It doesn't mean anything." Daniel raised an eyebrow. "It means everything." He began reading. Per the prenuptial agreement, if Mrs. Morgan initiates a divorce, she receives no financial compensation, assets, or support from Mr. Morgan. Claire's smile froze. Daniel continued. Additionally, due to clauses regarding infidelity and financial deception. Her head snapped up. Excuse me, what? Any proven intent to deceive or defraud Mr. Morgan financially results in a penalty payment owed to him. I leaned forward, resting my chin on my hands. Claire, you really should have read the fine print. Her face paled. Her nails dug into the chair. No, she whispered. This is a joke. Daniel remained unfazed. It's legally binding, and your signature is on every page. Claire turned to me, eyes wide. Ethan, honey, let's talk privately. Why? I asked coolly. I thought I was just a placeholder husband. Her breathing quickened. That was just talk. It didn't mean anything. Daniel cleared his throat. Actually, it did. Thanks to Mr. Morgan's investigation, we have messages, recordings, and evidence proving your intent to commit financial fraud. Claire gasped. You spied on me? I smirked, mimicking her tone. Oh, relax. It was just a precaution. I trusted you, remember? Her hands shook. She turned to Daniel. This can't be legal. I'll fight it in court. Daniel didn't flinch. You're welcome to try, but you'll waste your time and money. Per the agreement, you're liable for all legal fees for both parties if you challenge it. Claire looked like she might collapse. Reality hit, she wasn't getting half. She wasn't getting anything. Worse, she owed me money. The next few weeks were glorious. Claire tried to fight, but the prenup was ironclad. Her friends learned the truth and mocked her in their chats. She became a social media laughingstock, exposed as a failed gold digger. Even her family turned on her. Her mother called me, saying, I didn't raise her like this. She got what she deserved. But the best part? The moment Claire realized she'd destroyed herself. She didn't just lose the divorce settlement. She lost everything. 4 years, she'd crafted an image as a polished, high-class woman. Now she was a punchline. Mia and Sophie ditched her, not out of morality, but because nobody wants to be tied to a public failure. Her placeholder husband texts leaked, shared by friends, co-workers, even relatives. People who once envied her now ridiculed her. Her social media following tanked. She posted vague, I'm the victim rants, but no one cared. The financial hit was brutal. She moved from our upscale apartment to a cramped rental. Her credit cards? Maxed out. Her shopping sprees? Over. The glamorous life she flaunted? Gone. For the first time, Claire had to work. She applied for marketing jobs, but employers searched her name and found her scandal. No one wanted to hire a known schemer. She ended up in retail, folding clothes at a mall, a far cry from her luxury brunches. I hadn't seen Claire in months. I didn't think about her, didn't care. Then one day, I walked into a cafe, and there she was, sitting alone. She looked drained. The confidence? Vanished. The smugness? Replaced by weariness. She'd aged a decade in months. She saw me and froze, debating whether to flee. Instead, she gave a weak smile. Ethan. Hi. Claire. I replied. She hesitated. I deserved it, didn't I? I sipped my coffee slowly. Yes. Her eyes glistened. I lost everything. No, I corrected. You threw it all away. She trembled, voice barely audible. I thought I was being clever. I raised a hand. I don't care. She flinched. I just wanted to say I'm sorry, she whispered. I met her gaze, cold and unmoved. You're not sorry. You're just regretting the consequences. She blinked back tears. I stood, tossing a few dollars on the table. Good luck, Claire. And I walked away, because I was finally free.